Ever since I beat Act 2 of Silksong with the bosses doubled, people have been asking me, Spoons, will you have my baby? And I always tell them the same thing, I'm far too busy playing Silksong to have sex. Act 3 still needed to be beaten, and I knew it would take everything I had in me to succeed. The Bill Eater's the first boss I went up against because I wanted my fast travel back immediately. With two of them, there's very little room to maneuver. I found that throwing two needle trap things would block most of the projectiles from the DoubleEnemies. Otherwise, the fight is just about throwing stuff and getting silk so I could throw even more stuff. This actually ended up being the only fight I used the Architect crest on, mostly because hitting them normally was awkward. It still took quite a few tries for a lucky run, but in the end, nobody expects the double IRA from the top ropes. Now I needed to grab the last mask shard from Gurr The Outcast. Unfortunately, the DoubleEnemies mod conflicted with my secret curvy nude hornet mod, which resulted in this happening. Seeing as uninstalling the secret curvy nude hornet mod was out of the question, I just had to deal with it. Luckily, beating the ever-living shit out of Gurr fixed it. This fight is about trying to stop the traps from getting out of hand. I was so focused on the traps, I'm pretty sure I didn't properly dodge his dash attack even once. The boss didn't have shared HP, so one of the Gurrs died a lot earlier than the other one. Not much I could do about that. So from here it was just a regular fight. And with that, I got the last mask shard I needed for max health. Now it was time to get the first heart for the main quest, so next up was Double Seth. Now since there are two of them, this fight is now twice as sad. The double tragedy guarantees that you will be crying during the whole fight. Now this might be a hot take, but in my opinion, using the player's tears to obscure the fight is unfair game design. The sadness status effect is unfair in general, really. Any audio cues given by the boss are drowned out by the player's cries of anguish, not to mention having to figure out how to play in between sobs. It's recommended to have a loved one hold you during this fight, but I wanted to beat it without using summons, so I snorted a line of Prozac, boofed some essential oils, and just went for it. With Seth defeated, it was time for double Nyleth. Now what's fun about this fight is that Nyleth covers the wall they're on with thorns, so if they're on both sides, you have literally nowhere to land. So a lot of the time you're pogering off of them to stay in the air. This fight basically was just bouncing on them crazy style. If I had a wall to use, I'd just throw things at them. Occasionally I'll cross-stitch the explosions that cover pretty much everywhere. After only a few tries I beat Nyleth, and they were pretty upset about it. I decided to save getting the last 2 hearts for toward the end, so I went ahead and did all the optional fights first. For the second Sentinel fight, I used the Beast Crest and basically just went ham. Using Flea Brew increased the amount of ham, and I was able to attack fast enough to parry a lot of their attacks. Even though I was just mashing the attack button, I couldn't just mindlessly hack away at them. While I could take a lot of hits, I still needed the occasional dodge or cross stitch to make room for me to bind. It took a hot second, but the second Sentinel and second Sentinel were defeated. Pinstress is a fight where she runs away from you 80% of the time. Now once again, my secret curvy Hornet nude mod was conflicting with the double boss mod, because the second Pinstress is a little buggy. If you look closely, there's actually a third Pinstress eating the second one's ass the entire fight. As for the actual fight, it was intense. It always felt like I was one hit away from dying. Now my plan for this fight was to chase them down in the air. I like to use the dash attack to launch myself into the air and then keep myself in the air with pogos and clawline attacks. After hours of trying, I finally knocked one out. Now I just had to survive the regular fight. and that was the Pinstress fight. Now it was time to rip out the heart of a gay man, not because he's gay, but because I felt like it. But to get to the gay man's heart, I first had to go through Palestag. This boss just spawns boomerangs and teleports away from you. Since I was using the beast crest for some reason, this made it extremely hard to heal. So I thought, what if I just don't heal? So I just cross-stitched anytime it looked impossible to dodge, and I only used melee to make sure I had enough silk to cross-stitch whenever I needed to. Plus the riposte was wide enough to almost always hit at least one Palestag. Cross-stitch is very good. With Palestag out of the way, it was time for the Clover Dancers. This was a difficult fight. The small arena gave little room to dodge, and it was often hard to see where everyone was going. By the start of the fight, I chug a flea brew and go beast mode. They always start off moving in the same direction, so I could reliably get a lot of hits in right away. The tornado attack was a huge pain to deal with. It lasts a long time and severely limits the amount of room to dodge the other two dancers. As per usual, I use cross-stitch to iframe through unavoidable attacks. The second phase becomes incredibly hard when their attacks become offset. I save my Pimpillos for the second phase to deal damage kind of safely. After hours of intense trial and error, I eventually found this slightly cheesy strat. I equipped the Sentinel's grip so I could stay put on the wall. There's a sweet spot in the middle of the wall where their normal attacks won't hit you, and you can cover both the top and bottom spots with your attacks. Their AoE attacks definitely will hit you though. For the tornadoes I cross-stitched, then for the lion's attack, I figured out the timing to parry both hits of it, so I could mostly just stay on the wall and attack when they got near. It looks cheesy, but it still took me a lot of tries to get lucky enough to have it work. So with that, I ripped out the heart of a gay man because I could. Afterwards, I received a court summon. I was to be put on trial for murder. Someone snitched and told the Crawfathers that I literally ripped a gay man's heart out. As a gay couple themselves, the Crawfathers were extra upset at me. And of course, I lost my case because I'm not fluent in bird law. Therefore, the punishment was murder. The punishment is always murder because of the pun. I doubled the enemy gauntlet before the boss this time cause why not? I got hit a lot, but I always had plenty of enemies to heal off of. Otherwise, the fight itself is relatively straightforward.
not responding to the pageantry at all.
The whole second verse is completely ridiculous.
The second verse is necessary to clarify what we
We're
are.
mic'd. We're mic'd. We're not. Our microphones are on.
Are they hearing this? Do this routine. Go.
After slaying yet another gay couple, it was time to slay two twin brothers. The last Garmond fight is a sad one, which is why I felt a little bad in playing the Sonic the Hedgehog strategy, and I'm sorry about that, because that means I have to use Sonic the Hedgehog music for this fight. Now, you can control the drift of the pogo on B's crest a bit to get a sharper or wider angle. This let me get a steeper downward angle to let me dodge his jump attack blocks and still get the pogo. My strategy was to use Sonic down airs to get my way into his base, then hack away a couple hits at a time. If you time it just right, your down air will beat his projectile attack. Despite how fast the final fight was, it still took me a while to get my strategy down. Now Zaza can chill with 2 corpses instead of just 1, which is, better, I guess? Plasmified Zango was one of the fights of all time. My strategy was to hit him a lot while avoiding his attacks. Using a damage increase tool helped as it would increase the damage I dealt. For this fight, I made sure to keep my eyes on the screen so I could react to what was happening. After beating the boss was defeated. Epileptic seizure in 3, 2, 1. In the double Tormented Trobbio fight, there is only chaos. Everything glitters and everything explodes. They say 1 in 3 people become permanently blind after this fight. Experts report Trobbio is responsible for 85% of the light pollution in Farloom. It is known that on the 4th day, Trobbio created the sun. In fear for my own safety, I decided to leave this fight for later. The Watcher at the Edge is a hidden boss that drops a memento. The problematic curvy nude hornet mod struck again and caused one of them to get stuck in the ground. This inspired me to expertly cheese this fight. I did fight them normally too, which was a lot less fun than trying to get them to die to the environment. This boss is essentially a glorified normal enemy, so I beat them after a relatively few amount of tries. There is one fight from Act 2 that I put off, and it's the Unravelled. These fat pieces of shit take up all of the arena by just standing there. They have so much HP because you have to cut through the multiple layers of fat and cholesterol to actually hurt them. The die consists of only Sulk Donalds. The lore of this boss says it's the manifestation of tormented souls, but this boss is so full of shit that it's more like the constipation of tormented holes. They summon enemies occasionally so they can take a minute to rest from all the exercise dashing across the stage takes. This boss is located in a hole because it's the shit in the butthole of Whiteward. Eventually, they just died from a double heart attack and I won the fight. So with the optional bosses defeated, except for Voltworm, which didn't work with the mod, it was time to get the last 2 hearts for the main quest. Next up was double Karmelita. As you probably guessed, this fight is as fun as it is difficult. Remember, by law, you have to parry her projectiles because it's cool. Now, having hot Latino women trying to kill me was nothing new to me. They are mad at me for talking to Chakra, even though we're just friends. As always, I arrive to the arena on time, but she always has a gauntlet before her because she needs more time to get ready. Plus, she always wants to fight in front of tons of people and cause a scene. Anyway, I actually got to see how much I improved at Silksong with this fight. A while ago, I tried fighting double Karmelita for fun, and I couldn't beat them. Now I could tell right away that beating them was definitely possible for me. I tried to keep them both on the same side and avoid getting stuck in the middle of them. Since I knew the fight really well already, I just had to keep going at it until I got a good run. Now to get the last heart, I needed to fight Mr. Krabs. I was glad the devs managed to get the actual voice actor for Mr. Krabs to do his lines in Silksong. The SpongeBob crossover was unexpected, but welcome.
You're about to learn how I got the nickname Armor's Krabs! Yeah! 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 Don't try anything funny! Yeah! I'll show you many claws! Hello! I like money! Give me my money! Squidward, why aren't you on the cash register? Owie! Ow! Oh, I can take it! Gosh! Gosh! Well, this I tell to thee! Nobody traps Eugene Krabs! I'm all for a pretty penny! I'm undefeated at the Secret Anchor Arm Wrestling Club! Yeah! Playtime never! That'll cost you! Gotcha! Hook, line, and sinker! What the devilfish is going on here, SpongeBob? Money speaking, today's catch. Get over here. This is one crab who knows how to punch the time clock. Nobody's getting their hands on the Krabby Patty formula. You're fired. So long. You like that? One more, and you lose out on Employee of the Month. Let that be a lesson to you, sonny. Open for business. That's it, I'm done. Let go. Gotcha.
I guess I'll have to close early today. Time to flip the sign on the front door to closed.
With the secret formula obtained, I could now face the final boss. After a quick therapy session, I went down to the abyss for what turned out to be the hardest double fight for me. Double Lost Lace is insane. It took me 2 weeks to beat this fight, about 30 hours total. The whole fight lasted about 5 minutes, and I had to be playing extremely well the whole time. There's very little room for error, as literally every attack does at least 2 damage, as well as any contact damage. Now, I'll let the rest of the fight play out unedited because I want you to experience every second of my greatest gaming achievement yet. Beating Lost Lace Doubled felt amazing. I wrote off the gamer high for a good week. But yeah, we beat the Abyss and saved Farloom, yada yada yada. We all know who the true final boss of Silksong is. This challenge was super fun. Honestly, a lot of the fights feel empty now when I fight one boss like normal. I got way better at the game doing this challenge. My gamer aura has never been stronger. But yeah, thanks for watching, and that's it. Bye.